coming to you live from Tennessee, from the east to the west. We are talking Cowboys everything. And you just entered
the Cowboy Zone.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cowboy Zone on a Victory Wednesday. This is Marcus Jones, the Bluff City Cowboy, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee.
And this is Lambo from Cowboys Y'all, coming to you out of Kingsport, Tennessee, by way of Johnson City.
I heard the echo. All right, guys. I see the views are jumping pretty quickly today, so everybody seems to be excited to join us for this Victory Wednesday.
It's Hate Philly week.
Yeah. Philly brings the Cowboy fans out, I guess. So thank you guys for joining. I see we got Rika in the building first. Rika, thank you for joining. She does a great podcast over there with Charlie at Dallas Cowboys Uncensored. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you guys go check that one out. And Rika, if you get a chance, put in the comments when you will be airing again live. See, I got my guy Tavis in the building. Tavis, thank you for joining. Definitely looking for your comments about last week's game as well as what we can expect from the Eagles. See, we got Keith M in the building. Looks like a fairly new name. So, Keith, if you haven't done so already, make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube channels. I'm Bluff City Cowboy and Lambo is Cowboys Y'all. Then we got my guy Mendoza in the building. Guys, make sure you go follow Mendoza too, because Mendoza, of course, everybody knows him. When it comes to football, college, high school, NFL, he's one of those references you need to go to. He's been doing some daily tweets about prospects to be aware of as we enter the 2023 NFL draft. So make sure you go follow him if you want to get a feel for the landscape of what type of talent's coming out of college. Mendoza's your guy to follow to find out. And I see we got a new name, Donald Weaver.
What's up?
I recognize the picture, so I think Donald Weaver's a returning viewer. Maybe the name's different. But Donald, if not, thank you for joining us. Be sure to like. Be sure to share. Share it to your personal page. Share it to your favorite Facebook group. We'll definitely get to that, Tavis. Rika said she doesn't know when she'll be going live again, but it will be from one location. Yeah, you guys have been together for a while, so congrats on the move. And DJ Dog, I think I overlooked you, but once again, thank you for joining as always. And Donald Weaver, I recognize the avatar, but I didn't recognize the names. I don't know. Did you used to have a different name? Tavis asked the question, how do you follow Mendoza? Mendoza, I'll let you handle that one. Lambo, I don't know if you follow Mendoza or not, but he doesn't have a regular Twitter
he's got those like 15 numbered Twitter tags?
No, he had Mendoza, explain in the comments what your tag means and how people can actually find you on Twitter, because you're putting up great content and people really need to know it. And another great draft guy. Thank you for reminding me, Tavis. Tavis Banks. I've been following him for about 3 years now. I can honestly say I've never seen him go wrong on a talent. Anybody he talks about, first round or fifth round, that guy seems to perform in the NFL. So make sure you go follow Tavis Banks. The Keystone Sleeper Files for season 3 are coming soon.
Nice.
All right, so seems like we got a full house here. So, guys, the comments are filling up. Keep them coming because we got a lot to talk about this week's game. See, we got Bob Heck joining us again in the building. Thank you for joining. So let's go ahead. And get started to celebrate this Victory Wednesday as we do a game recap of the Cowboys versus the Los Angeles Rams.
Game recap.
All right, great game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could probably spend the whole show talking about that, but we want to try to get that out there. And thank you, DJ Dog. I was heavy on the Sam Williams train. He's starting to come around. looking forward to seeing once he gets that second move, what he can do with it, and when they find a place for him. So let's go ahead and just get started on defense first. For me, gotta start with another guy that I've been talking about for like 5 years, and that's Dorrance Armstrong.
Yes.
Fan base has been torn for the past year or so about losing Gregory and what that means for the team.
We've liked Armstrong for a while.
Very long time.
We was waiting for that step, and it's really kicked off this year.
Yep. I mean, and we only talked about him on special teams, how special he was. Now he's showing us that defensive side that he showed us playing in Kansas in college when he finally got the opportunities given to him.
Yeah.
I mean, people try to say he's eating off of Micah Parsons. No, he's doing this himself. Go back and look at the plays. He's getting his own separation and getting his own penetration from his own work and making things happen with it.
Yeah, he's playing with the motor.
Mm-hmm.
And
his pass rush moves are good. Bob Heck, you can find me Bluff City Cowboys on YouTube, and Lambo is Cowboys Y'all on YouTube. So yeah, just starting off there. First play of the game, actually.
Yeah.
Scoop and score. I'm sorry, Lambo. You about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say I hate being on this side of the screen. It's disgusting. But I'm glad you didn't put that ugly green over here. So
no, I couldn't do that.
You kind of like eased it up to where it ain't so our screen ain't gotta be so ugly.
Yeah.
I can deal with the grayish.
Yeah, I use the same frame. So the cash it's hard for me to change the cash apps around, so that's why I keep it like that.
I like
what? I mean, that's fine. We can
do that feels weird.
I knew it would feel weird because it's been like 2 years on that side. All right, I see I got my guy Dom in the building, another draft guy. Dom's just an overall wealth of football knowledge. So if you haven't done so already, go find him on Twitter as well. DJ Dog, sack, forced fumble, sack, and block punt. Need an interception to get his defensive version of the cycle.
Right.
I mean, it's probably coming. I mean, the guy does everything. And our D-line as a whole is just making opportunities for each other. It's not just Micah Parsons as some of our fan base try to make it out to be.
Oh, everybody's eating.
Yep.
It's a buffet, man.
Yep, and Tab is saying if he do eat off Micah, so is D-Law. We finally got a piece that gets everyone open and something to say about that. Yeah, definitely. And on top of that, nobody's in just one spot. If you go look at the game, you see Dorrance Armstrong lined up at the 3 tech, the 5 tech defensive end. He's standing up as an outside linebacker. He's standing up on the inside and picking a gap to rush through. Same thing with Dante Fowler. Same thing with Michael Parsons, obviously. And, I mean, the guys are only getting better. We haven't even got Basham back yet. And Basham could be right along the lines with all these other guys. So it's a lot to look forward to coming up.
Yeah. And you know what's was kind of surprising to me? I know Diggs caught a lot of everybody's been waiting for the moment where they could finally come back out on the Diggs trash talk. But I'm kind of impressed. Man, he was playing with a little bit of I don't know, man, different velocity. He was getting in there on them tackles, and that made me happy. I was more focused on that. He led the team in tackles.
He did, yeah. He made a couple of key tackles on second down to make it 3rd and short, and the Rams eventually had to punt. Yeah, and great point, Tavis Banks. I mean, if you joined us last week, we talked about that. I mean, it's Cooper Kupp. Nobody can really stop him. Actually, if you guys remember, we talked about this with Payo time on Sunday, and also last week in Lambeau. I told you guys if they put Diggs on Kupp, what happened was gonna happen because you cannot play man-to-man with a player like Cooper Kupp.
And that 54-yard pass to other dude, I can't remember his name right now, slipping my mind.
Oh, Tutu Atwell.
Yeah. Diggs actually had great coverage in that. I mean, it's not like he got blown away. He was probably his hand was probably about this far off that ball.
Yep.
I mean, he was in solid coverage still.
Yeah. And if you go back and watch, I
It's
mean,
not like he got burnt.
that wasn't technically, it looked like it wasn't even his responsibility because
Right. Yeah.
it looked like the safety came down on the post and just completely left the middle of the field wide open.
Yeah.
When Diggs was clearly playing outside technique. And just because of his playmaking ability, he was able to recover and come back inside and almost make that breakup, but he ended up making a tackle that prevented the touchdown. Now, the second catch, that was on him. I mean, going back and watching, it was straight man. He took a chance, which is what Diggs does, as we love about him.
Yeah.
He tried to go underneath on the drag route and get the interception or the breakup.
He was hoping for that to be that ball that's just slightly behind.
Mm-hmm.
And
actually,
it was a beautiful pass.
It was a beautiful pass. I mean, if it was thrown the way it should have been thrown, Diggs probably would have got his hands on it. But
Right.
Kupp made a great play to even bring the ball in, kind of tapping it to himself. It was literally at a spot where only the receiver could get it.
Yeah.
The fact that Diggs made took a chance, it prevented him from being able to make that tackle, because it should have been at worst a 3-yard play, first and 10.
Yeah.
But because Diggs put himself out of position, Kupp just made it happen. And also, the safety was out of position again on that. It shouldn't have been a touchdown. It was going to be a big play, but it shouldn't have been a touchdown. So I know people are hard on Diggs, but I mean, you got to look at the whole picture.
Yeah. I mean, we still held them to 10 points.
10 points, yeah.
And like that's exactly what we said going into the game. We said it doesn't matter how much receiving yards or catches Kupp really ends up with. That's not going to determine this game. We seen him go off against the Niners too. They still didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing that happened. I mean, Kupp ate, but the Rams as a whole didn't, and that's all that matters.
Right. So sticking with the secondary, got to talk about the other side of the field. Anthony Brown didn't really hear much from his side, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Just putting together a solid season. He gave up a touchdown against Washington, but other than that, I mean, he's been almost perfect. And the pass rush has been helping with that a lot.
Yeah, Osa got in there. Digizua.
Yeah, Osa starting to pick it up. The first couple of weeks, he wasn't as involved. But these past 2 weeks, he may have played the most snaps of any interior defensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Rams scored a whopping 0 points in the second half. Also, to add on that, I've seen most people have seen the stat that the Cowboys are the only defense in the NFL right now that haven't had 2 TDs in the game scored on them.
Yep, the only team that hasn't given up multiple touchdowns in the game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, we got to see Ron Curse back this week. Also, great coverage against Higbee. Higbee was kind of the second guy who they looked for to pick up the slack, and they pretty much shut him down. I mean, overall, great game defensively.
Yeah, they kept him at 46 yards. I mean, I'll take that.
Yep. Then we go to the offensive side of the ball, and I should have flagged the comment by, I believe it was Tavis Banks. Yeah. Talking about the offense, everybody's talking about the Dak rush thing. We won't get into that on the Cowboy Zone because, I mean, watch for yourself, basically.
Yeah. It's just the same thing, just asking him to be a game manager, just to don't turn the ball over, play it safe type thing. I mean, they only threw the ball 16 times. Yeah, there was a good chunk play we would have got that was missed, but out of one of those balls.
But we had more rushing yards than passing yards. That's like that's like 1997 offense.
Right. Yeah, Pollard had 86, Zeke had 78. I mean, that's a winning formula.
Exactly. Rush had a whopping 105.
Yeah. That's good though. If your quarterback can throw for 105 and you win 22-10, that's good. That's Dak's sitting there going,
right.
Yes, let's do this. Get me back on the field. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it also. And Like you say, he didn't have any turnovers. I mean, the offense was outside of the Pollard run and a couple of good Zeke runs. The offense was pretty anemic,
Yeah.
and to come out with a double-digit win is a major accomplishment, particularly by the defense. But we definitely have to pick things up because 105 yards is not even managing a game.
It's not gonna I'm worried about this game. To be honest, I'm a little worried about this game coming up. We're gonna have to
Yeah,
do a little bit more on offense. I feel like,
yeah, oh,
but
definitely. And DJ Dog saying the national media didn't recognize the depth on defense or how good our secondary is. I mean, you can just blame overall Cowboys hate on that. People don't want to give Diggs his respect. People don't want to give Brown their respect. And it really comes back to our fan base because our fan base, and you hear all podcasters talk about that.
yeah,
Our fan base really dictates what the national media talks about. So if our fan base puts out false narratives about how bad our secondary looks, the national media is going to pick up on that because they want to get clicks and likes and views. Same thing about our defense. Nobody wants to give any of our defensive linemen the credit they deserve. All you hear is Micah Parsons, and that's it.
right,
But we got 2 or 3 guys that are really producing. It's not just Micah, but Micah's amazing. I don't want to take
yeah,
anything from him. Still don't hear J. Ron Curse love like we should.
yeah. Still not hearing the J. Ron curse. And you notice who was Dalton Schultz was a zero factor again. I
Mm-hmm.
know he was a little banged up and stuff, but I could tell you one thing, man. Did the Cowboys offer him? Did Was there any deals offered to him before that franchise tag that you
Um,
remember? Because he might be wishing, if there was, he might be wishing he would have took it before. Because
yeah.
this season ain't going his way, man.
Now, honestly, I wasn't really involved in the offseason a lot,
Yeah,
so I didn't really keep track of contract rumors. I pretty much knew he was going to get franchise tagged.
yeah,
After after the tight end for Cleveland signed that big deal, I knew there was no way Dallas was going to give him a contract.
yeah.
So I don't even know if they offered him anything or not. But Tavis, I know Tavis keeps up with all that, and he says no.
0 receptions.
Yep. And I know Mendoza like hearing this. Peyton Hendershot looked really good blocking. He made a couple of really good blocks. That long run with Tony Pollard, he made a key
Yeah,
block.
he had a
He
hold, I
made about
think, if I
he
remember right.
he had a false
But
start in the red
was it a
zone.
false start? Was that what it was?
Typical Hendershot, yeah.
Yeah,
But he looks really good blocking. And we know the athleticism is there. We just got to get the tight end position involved in the offense again. And I think we're probably gonna see Schultz get completely phased out at some point because of guys like Hendershot and Ferguson if he stays healthy.
yeah,
And Tav is saying make this Dalton's last year. The tight end class is solid. It's definitely a solid tight end class. It's some freak athletes out there. Production is not lining up with athleticism, but that's how it normally happens when you go from college to NFL because the tight end position isn't a highlighted position in most teams' offenses in college. All right. Offensively, I got to give some shouts out to the offensive line in particular. Terrence Steele had a very solid game blocking.
yeah.
I saw like two bad plays by him, but other than that, I mean, he was just handling Leonard Floyd. It wasn't even close. People trying to take shots at our first round pick, Tyler Smith.
He's going to Donald. Is Aaron
Yeah,
Donald, man?
I
Is
mean,
Aaron Donald?
exactly. I mean,
That's
he
one
gave
of the
up.
reasons he didn't pass a lot too. I think they knew. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it was kind of playing it safe, because yeah, he was. There's not much you can do against a guy like Aaron Donald.
yep, yeah. So the Tyler Smith haters. I mean, if you want to hold it against him, that arguably the best defensive tackle of all time got two big pressures on him. Be my guest.
Right.
I'll take it all day. Yeah, Terrence Steele really shut him down. It was a good game all around. And the few times Donald was inside, they pretty much neutralized him. And that's Connor McGovern and Zach Martin. So our offensive line is really starting to gel. We'll see what happens with Jason Peters this week, but I really like how they've looked so far in terms of blocking some of the top defensive lines that we played so far. Special teams, of course, the Dorrance Armstrong play.
Yeah,
Uh,
of
we,
course. Yeah.
yeah, great play by him. We haven't seen Turpin yet, but it's coming.
Right.
Um, Teams are actually kicking to make sure that he can't return it, which is a good thing. It's really been giving us 7 to 10 yards more than we would normally get
Mm-hmm.
because they're not just letting it go in terms of kicks. They're really trying to angle and direction kicks.
And
Uh,
Maher goes 3 for 3.
well, Maher
3 for 3.
has been accurate. Yep. And the fake punt, I hated to see it. Risky play by the Rams. It worked out.
Yeah.
Hopefully, our special teams coach pays attention and stops being so aggressive on every punt because they do it all the time and leave themselves open. And Bob Heck saying we were up, we didn't have to pass. That's a good point. Very good point. And DJ Dog said Donald got Zach Martin also. Yep, definitely. Got to keep perspective. Tyler Smith still in his first couple of games. Yep. His breakout game is coming. I think it's this week, Mendoza. The Eagles are not very good against the tight end position. Their corners are playing exceptionally well right now. If there's some offense to be had, I think it's going to come from their tight end position. And Tavis Banks talking about Cooper Beebe out of Kansas. I really like that guy too. Tavis, you just got to come back later in the offseason. We could talk some college football. Because I know you probably got 100 names rolling around your head. And I'm kind of behind right now, so I definitely need to try to play catch up. Bob Heck saying this year we want our quarterback to throw a maximum of 27 passes. Yeah, the way our defense is playing, that's definitely the way we can go.
Yeah.
And looking at our schedule, I mean, if you look ahead, Green Bay's not really Green Bay anymore. Next time we'll have the Eagles at home. I can't think of another. Detroit's offense can be explosive at times. Outside of Detroit and maybe Green Bay, if they start to turn things around in the next 3 weeks, I don't see an offensive team that can put up 20 points on us. I don't know if you've looked at the schedule a little bit, looking ahead. Minnesota, maybe.
Yeah.
Green Bay, the Eagles again. I don't see a team that's gonna put up the
20. Bears. I'm
yeah.
just playing. No, Matt Ryan, no. Houston, no.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, no.
Mm-hmm.
The only team that even has a chance is Philly.
And Tavis saying Jacksonville. If we don't,
Gonna be Saxon.
if we let them bring us down to that level, I would say no. I'm more concerned about Detroit than Jacksonville because they got some real weapons, and their coach is super aggressive.
Yeah.
That's going to be their Super Bowl. I love Trevor Lawrence more than probably anybody else in the league, but he has the ability to make a lot of mistakes if you put pressure on him. So I kind of see that type of game happening. And I'm not sold on their running backs.
Which is also going to be hopefully part of our game plan this week. Pressure.
Exactly. All right, guys. So before we move on to talking about the Eagles game, let's go ahead and hit some of these storylines that we got. I mean, it's pretty much turning into injury report, but let's go ahead and hit a couple of these storylines that we got coming up for this week's game.
Storylines.
So, some of the top stories this week. Of course, we got Micah Parsons. Looks like he pulled his groin a little bit in the game, but he still kind of toughed it out. Made a big sack to end the game defensively. look like he should be a go on Sunday. How much remains to be seen. It's a Sunday night game, so that gives him a little bit more time to kind of get things together. Um, there was big talk about Dak may possibly play this week if he zips the ball around. We heard a lot of reports from the wide receivers post practice saying Dak's really been zipping it and looking good. I still don't think he's going to play this week. So that's something to pay attention to. See if he's active on the sideline or not. So definitely pay attention to that. We were missing Big Bo in the middle last week. Looks like he should be ready to go this week. And also Noah Brown was dealing with the injury, and he should be a full go this week. And there was one more I didn't get, and that's Jason Peters.
Yeah.
Former Philadelphia Eagle, missed last week's game. Sounds like he's going to be a full go this week also. And he's put a couple sound bites out there in the atmosphere. So make sure you go find those on Twitter. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not he's the starter for this week or not. Lambo, any of those storylines that stand out to you want to touch base on a little bit more?
No, I think they're Michael Parsons. He's a tough dude. The groin, I know it's bugging him. I could see maybe them limiting him more to just passing downs, possibly if it starts to bug him a little bit. I know at the end of that game he mentioned something about, you know, if I'm just going straight at the passer, I'm good. I just can't be back there in space moving around. Something along those lines. I could see something like that happening again. But like he said, no question, he's playing. If on passing downs, if he's rushing, I'll be happy. Dak, I think they're going to play it conservative with him. No need to try to rush him back too soon. Make sure he's 100% ready to go so we don't have any setbacks with him. I think it looks like he's not going to be back this week, but I think they're doing the right thing, taking their time with him.
I agree.
But, yeah. And no Brown, dealing with his injury, but thank goodness we got Gallup back, so it kind of eases up on that.
Yeah, that definitely helps when you got a Gallup coming back who can help move things along on the offense, especially the way that Big Play Slay has been kind of earning the name the past couple weeks.
At least we ain't got to worry about Maury Cooper getting shut down by him.
Right. All right, so Lambo, you brought up a great point about Micah Parsons saying as long as he's not in space. And that's a great segue into our question of the week, which focuses on Jalen Hurts, the quarterback. So as we know, Jalen Hurts has been pretty much killing it with his legs so far. He has several touchdowns. His ability to avoid tackles and run that read option is really one of the key strengths in their offense and their success so far. So this week's question of the week focuses strictly on Jalen Hurts and how we can shut him down. So let's go to the question of the week really quick. And question of the week so far for this week: who should spy Jalen Hurts on defense? Nobody's been able to do it so far based on the teams they played. Arizona actually did a really good job last week of spying Hurts. That's one of the reasons the Eagles only scored 17 or 20 points, because of their ability to use their linebackers and safeties to kind of spy Jalen Hurts and keep him in the pocket. So this week's question of the week: who should spy Jalen Hurts? And we already got people logging in to vote. So if you haven't done so already, go to minty.com, use code 7118-6440. Let us know what you think about who should spy Jalen Hurts. And I put a couple of names up here. First of all, yeah. So first of all, we got three very, very talented safeties, and they all play a lot of snaps. So if you keep Curse as kind of your tight end guy, that keeps Donovan Wilson kind of open to be your spy guy. on the inside with Hurts.
That's who my vote was. Down from
Right.
this.
Very solid tackler. Very athletic when it comes to seeing and hitting.
Oh, he flies around.
Yeah. You talked about Micah Parsons with the groin injury. I mean, Micah Parsons at 60% is probably better than most people on our defense. And Tavis Banks saying Donovan Wilson will miss a tackle or two. I don't trust it. He does have that ability to try to go for the big hit and kind of.
Oh, he's thinking. Miss. He says he's picking Cox, thinking Daniel Jones.
Who said that? Yeah. Yeah, Daniel Jones killed us with his legs. And I put that as my last one.
Cox blew him up too. That one last year.
Yep. So Micah Parsons dealing with the groin. Like Lambo said, he doesn't feel he should be in space, but Micah at 60% is probably better than anybody else on the defense. I didn't even think about putting LVE up here.
No.
I went straight to Anthony Barr.
Oh, yeah.
So Anthony Barr, an athletic linebacker. We haven't seen his best play yet. And then I also had to put Jabril Cox. We haven't seen him play any on the defense, but we all know he's an athletic guy. He moves well in space. So those are your 4 options. And once again, go to menti.com, use code 7118-6440, and let us know your thoughts. And if there's another name that you have in mind, put it in the comments so we can talk about it. So, Lambo, why'd you choose Donovan Wilson?
He's just a high energy, high motor guy. He always seems to be flying to the ball. I like his athleticism. I don't know. I just feel like he'd be best suited.
Yeah. Now, Norman Davis makes the comment saying the only thing we need to do is keep everything in front of us. I'm assuming you mean that we play some type of zone, and I do not want to do that. Go watch the Minnesota game, and you'll know why. They embarrassed their linebackers in their secondary in that game. I want our defensive front to stay aggressive like they have been.
They got to be very aggressive in this game.
Right. Make Jalen Hurts have to read the field because so far he's just been just picking his shots and finding A.J. Brown whenever he wants to. Make that process have to speed up. And if he happens to break from the pressure, that's when we need to have a guy who can come up and make that tackle who's kind of playing in the middle of the field. And good, that's a good point, Norman. Our defense is much stronger than the Vikings, but at the same time, you don't want to play any type of zone with them. And Mendoza making a great point. Hurts and Cooper have the same amount of passing touchdowns. Hurts has been doing it a lot with his legs. So it's very important that we are able to have someone who can get him on the ground when he tries to break through our pass rush. So once again, Norman Davis, great point. If anybody else has an idea, let us know in the comments. What do you think we should do to try to slow Jalen Hurts down?
And I don't think people realize really how important this is, because if you look back, I don't think some people realize how much he's actually rushing. I mean, he's I'll go down from week 1 through week 5 and say his rushing attempts: 17 attempts, 11, 9, 16, 15. That's a lot of rushing attempts by a quarterback.
That's more than our starting running backs.
He's had more carries than Zeke on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
He's running the ball a lot.
A lot.
He is their offense right now. So you slow him down, that's ball game.
Yo, so guys, make sure you let us know your thoughts. If we do a spy, who should that person be?
6 rushing touchdowns in 5 weeks for Jalen Hurts.
You know, I wouldn't
only 4 passing.
I wouldn't be opposed to Sam Williams doing some spying.
Yeah.
He's definitely got the athleticism. That's another name we haven't seen. He's been kind of an unsung guy who's been playing inside, outside, standing up. I should have put that as my 4th option. I would really love to see Sam Williams be in a position where he only has to just see and react.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mendoza saying we got to contain and finish. I'm looking forward to the AJ Brown, Trayvon Diggs competition. I think he's the type of receiver that really works well to Diggs's strong suits. Not very fast,
Hmm.
kind of a route guy.
Right. And if the
And
pressure is the way we want it, hopefully Devontae Smith, we ain't got to worry about him having time to get downfield.
yeah, definitely. And DJ Dog saying the tackle a strong guy like Hurts need to break down more before the tackle and not always go for the big hit. That's a great point as a counterpoint to what Jeff said about one clean hit on Hurts. Yeah, this is definitely a game where you're just trying to get him on the ground. You're not trying to go for the kill shot. Especially the way the referees have been calling games lately.
Yeah, I know, man. Oh my God, I know. Are you what you're referring to already? That.
Which one?
Yeah, that's
We
true.
had a couple.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, you can go Derek Carr, you can go
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes, you can go to the BS call on Tom Brady
I
that
was
cost
thinking
the
about the car one.
that cost the Falcons the game. Yeah, these refs have really been babying these quarterbacks so far. And Jeff saying I think Brown can handle Smith.
What can Brown do for you? Handle Smith. That's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I'm assuming you mean the Grady Jarrett sack on Tom Brady. Complete BS call. That was a normal football play. I mean, what do you want to do? Touch him and then let him go and let him throw the pass? He tackled him.
Yeah, it's gotta change. It's ruining football. It's gotta change, man.
Yep. All right, Lambo, we're at 37 minutes. Let's go ahead and talk about this Eagles matchup really quick. Go through a couple of our segments. And guys, once again, keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming. Make sure you like, make sure you share. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Bluff City Cowboy, Lambo is Cowboys. Y'all, we got the minty.com going across the bottom of the screen. So if you haven't done so already, we will check back on this. Make sure you cast your vote on who you think should spy Jalen Hurts. Yeah, the Chris Jones was even worse because he literally had tried to brace himself to get the ball,
Right. It
and
was
they
pathetic.
said like he laid on top of him. Yeah, can't even say anything about it. It's ridiculous. And you know, a primetime game with the Dallas Cowboys in an away game, we're gonna have at least one of those calls go against us.
Yeah. You pretty much have to expect it going into the game.
Yep. All right, Lambo. Let's move forward. 39 minutes. Let's talk about some of the key matchups that we're looking at in this week's game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Key matchups.
All right, guys. Let us know in the comments some of the key matchups that you're looking for in this game. Lambo and I are going to do three each. Lambo, what's your first key matchup to pay attention to? It's a lot of them in this game.
First key matchup, man, it's got to be whoever that is spying Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That's key matchup number one. So insert whatever player that is, and that's a key matchup. Also, man, just
If I would, the first one I'm paying attention to is wherever Fletcher Cox lines up at,
yeah,
because our offensive line's been doing really good so far, but we've gotten a taste of a Fletcher Cox type guy in Aaron Donald, but Aaron Donald moved around a lot. Fletcher Cox going to be inside all game, and you got that big monster next to him, the first round pick, so it's going to be hard for somebody to really just try to key in on Cox. So he's going to get a one-on-one opportunity with either our center or our left guard. So I'm definitely going to pay attention to that one. We know Cooper Rush is not really athletic. So can he maneuver himself in the pocket enough to make a couple of throws? And can our running backs get to that C gap to try to make some plays.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All
Got
right,
Lamb
Lambo, you
versus
got
Slay.
another one for me?
Tavis says Lamb versus Slay.
That's a good one.
I like one of the ones you mentioned earlier with the Trayvon versus
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. Yeah, I think he matches up very well with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could be one of those games where he's pretty much, takes him out of the game. I mean, you could look at maybe like a 3 catch for 40 something yards type deal, and I'd be happy with that. Um, take one of his key weapons out of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Um, you brought up one talking about Anthony Brown versus Devonta Smith. I think that one's going to be interesting because, like you just said, I think Diggs is going to take Brown out of the game.
Yeah,
Last year Diggs took Smith out of the game, but this year, because of that matchup, Brown's going to get a lot of Devonta Smith, and it's going to be interesting to see how he holds up with him. That's another guy. I think Brown matches up to him well. He's
yeah,
kind of a speed guy. Um, Brown doesn't fare too well on 50-50 balls, but Smith is not really he's a speed guy, but he's not really a vertical guy in my opinion. So I think that's gonna be a really key matchup. If Smith tries to go deep, can Brown turn around and look for the ball
uh,
or not get a pass
yeah. I
interference?
don't know if he's gonna look for it or not,
Yep.
but I wish he would. Yeah,
Travis Banks and another one, Kellen Moore. Definitely going to be a matchup to watch, especially the way the Eagles like to blitz. So you gotta be aware of the play calling.
and really the next one for me is what Mendoza's already got down here in the comment section. It's
Curse
just
versus Goddard.
well, this one right here.
Okay.
I'm looking to see what you know who's going to win at the line of scrimmage. Our D line, their O line, create a lot of pressure on Hurts is going to be very important. There's a lot of the stats released during this week about Hurts and when he has time in the pocket, basically, versus when he's being blitzed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge difference. You're talking he's top 2 or 3 in most major categories when he's not being this ain't really to just the D line. This is more so when blitz, but as a whole, just pressure in general, he
Mm-hmm.
is not nearly as good when he's under pressure.
Yep.
He's just not. So winning at the line of scrimmage and also just getting that pressure from our blitzers, that's gonna be key to slowing him down.
Now this is a really good one. DJ Dog and Tavis Bland kind of tag teaming on
Landon
this
Nickel.
take. Tavis Banks saying Deron Bland in the nickel, and DJ Dog kind of coming behind him talking about the Eagles taking deep shots to Watkins. That's Quez Watkins, the super fast receiver out of Southern Miss. A guy that doesn't get a lot of recognition in their offense, but that kid can fly, and that's the one they use for their vertical threat. Now, we know Bland isn't the most athletic guy, so hopefully he doesn't break loose in that slot and make one of those big plays that kind of turns the offense and gets the crowd into the game.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think: is there any other key matchup that we need to talk about? We talked about O line, D line. We'll talk about some of our receiver matchups and over under.
Uh,
I'm hoping our tight ends get involved this game. I think this has to be the game.
well, it's had tight ends on my mind.
Oh, I remember Tavis. That's how I knew the name because of you. Back when you first talked about him. But it's a lot of different matchups and stories that we can talk about all across this team. It should be an interesting game. Dennis Rivera asking the question, who's our quarterback? So today,
This week,
Yeah, today was the big practice day. It looks like from what we've seen, Cooper Rush got a lot of the reps. So you would have to assume that it's going to be Rush that's going to be our quarterback leading in the Sunday's game. All right, so really quick, we're 46 minutes. Just like Tavis said, it's definitely going to be Rush. I did that last week and it's carrying over to this week. So another matchup we probably have to talk about. I don't know if our tight ends get into play. I really like their safeties at Philadelphia. I'm a big Chauncey Gardner Johnson fan.
Yeah.
Um, I know you were Hound Reed Blankenship. You talked about him a lot. He's one of their safeties. He comes off the bench, but he's getting a lot of snaps. And then the other safety is named Marcus Epps. Um, Solid safety, kind of a young guy,
Yeah.
but he does a great job of tackling from what I've seen so far. So it's going to be interesting to see how their safeties come into affect their game.
Yeah, and we still don't know if we're gonna have Schultz for this game, so that'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see. You know, what's gonna happen there. I think he got a limited practice in today. I think they're. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of this week goes before they make a determination. But I'm not too worried about it either way because like we've talked about before. I still think these young tight ends can step up. We haven't seen it happen yet, but we also have
Hmm.
Cooper Rush at quarterback right now, so we'll see.
So DJ Dog says Broaders was talking about that big old tackle lining way back in the stance to cheat on speed rushers, the rugby tackle. I'm assuming you're talking about what Maylata for Philly. Yeah, he probably does. That means he's going to be susceptible to some inside moves. I don't know if Maylata's playing or not though. Got to pay attention to that. Jeff asking a good question.
Where's N'Kobe Dean?
I
Man,
don't. I don't think Dean has touched the field so far this year.
I wanted us to draft him so bad.
I
I'm glad
know,
that didn't happen.
but the way things are going, we may see our linebacker on the field before they see theirs. I don't know what's going on with Dean in Philly.
I know.
I mean, is Hassan Reddick that good to keep him off the field? Kazir White's having a pretty good season, but I thought Dean was going to be special, and we haven't seen it yet. All right, guys, we're at 48 minutes. Really quick, let's go into our next segment. Thank you guys for sticking with us so far. Great questions, great comments. Let's keep those comments coming as we go into our next segment, which is over under. So get ready, get your thoughts together. You probably already kind of know where I'm going. So let me hear what you got to say about some of the over under stats that we have for this week.
Over under.
All right, everybody. So for the people who are joining us, over under is a segment where we'll talk about a specific matchup or stat related to the game. And you guys let us know whether or not you think the team goes over or under on that statistic. Now, we just talked about key matchups. There's another key matchup that we did not touch on at all, Lambo,
Mm-hmm.
and that's James Bradbury versus Michael Gallup.
Ooh.
Now, James Bradbury is having a good season so far this year.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of it's coming because of the pass rush they're bringing. I think there's some opportunities there if Gallup can go deep. So, um, first over under relates to our receiving core. Over under one of our receivers getting 70 yards. 70 yards for one of our receivers over under.
I'm feeling over.
Okay. You got one in mind?
I'm feeling Gallup.
Okay.
I'm feeling Gallup. I feel like each week that goes by, he's kind of gaining his confidence back. He's getting that mental aspect out of his head. Um, he's slowly building up. We went from 24 to 44 yards his first week and second week. This time he's gonna get up over 70.
Yeah. It looks like everybody's agreeing with you, Lambo. That's responding so far. Everybody's saying over, and everybody's
And
kind of saying Gallup.
I feel like our streak of holding teams to not or holding every team to less than 2 touchdowns is going to end this week, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's going to be a little more passing involved than we're wanting just to keep this game.
Yeah.
So
That's a pretty good matchup, Brandon Graham versus Tyler Smith, DJ Dog.
yeah, that's good. That's fair. I like that.
I would actually be more concerned about them putting Cox and what's the big kid's name they just drafted? How'd I go blank?
Philly.
Yeah, what?
The DT.
Yeah, you got
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. I'm more
Jordan
concerned about
Davis.
them putting those two
Yeah.
inside and then moving a guy like Javon Hargrave outside because he's kind of a power to speed guy. And I don't know if Donald gave him fits because he's great, or is that kind of Tyler Smith's weakness? Because when he deals with straight speed guys, he's been pretty much dominating them. So maybe there's something about another power guy on the outside that may affect them. I think this week will be the week that we find out because I'm almost certain we're gonna see a guy like Milton Williams or Javon Hargrave get outside that defensive end spot. All right, so we spent a lot of time talking about their defensive line. They got a lot of talented guys. So let's say because of the amount of size they have on their defensive line and possibly stopping our run game, over under 60 yards rushing for one of our running backs. Over under 60 yards rushing for one of our running backs. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And by the way, I'm leaning over on the receiver, and I'm also with you guys. I think it's going to be Gallup.
60 yards for one running back, you said, or 60 yards total?
No, one running back.
Okay.
That's a great thought, DJ Dog. But the problem is
Over.
our offensive coordinator refuses to do that. Now, if he saw that and did it, I would be ecstatic. But history tells us he won't see them both on the field and then go after them and make one of them have to try to run off the field to get us that free play that a lot of teams like Green Bay have made famous. All right, Tavis is saying under. Jeff is saying over for Pollard. Jeff also saying we run a lot of outside zone, tire those big guys out. Now the only problem with that is the only way you can tire them out is if you're effective. If you're running it and they tackle you for a loss or no gain on first down, you're not going to see it on second or third down. So that has to be effective and keep them on the field and make them have to run before it can have any kind of effect on the way they run their defense.
Yeah.
DJ Dog saying Zeke plays well against the Eagles.
Yeah. Over Zeke.
Over. Tavis Banks probably agreeing with me what I said about Kellen Moore and the hurry up. I mean, it's just awful that people at home can see that and he just refuses to.
I'm thinking over with Zeke.
Okay.
And who said that about Zeke? Yeah, DJ Dog. I agree. Last year, I looked back at last year, and he was between the two games last year. He averaged 5 yards a carry, and he's just been getting the touches. If anybody's going over this week, I think it's Zeke. His touches have actually been building up by the week, and we seen 22 last week. The week before 19. The week before 15. First week it was 10. I think they're starting to slowly get back to that feed Zeke mode.
Mm-hmm.
And he hadn't had his big game yet this year, really. I
Yep.
think this would be the game where he might have his 100-yard game.
Oh, so you're calling a 100-yard game for Zeke?
I am. First one this year.
Okay.
I think he's sick of not eating. and watching all the other backs around the league eat.
Lambo giving us his bold prediction early, I think.
It's sad that's a bold prediction these days, but I mean,
Mendoza, the question was over under 60 yards rushing for one of our running backs. So let's keep it going in terms of the running game. It's weird we didn't even talk about Miles Sanders for the Eagles because of the amount of respect that Jalen Hurts has as a rusher as well as getting rushing touchdowns. So we talk about Jalen Hurts. So far, every game this year, he's had at least 10 rushes. Oh, I take that back.
9 for 1.
He had one game, he had 9 rushes, but every other game, he's hitting double digits. And his lowest rush total was the 9 rush game for 20 yards. So if I'm looking at the other games, it's 38 yards, 57, 61, and 90 yards rushing. So Jalen Hurts over under 45 yards rushing for the quarterback Jalen Hurts over under
45.
45 is the number. Like I just said before, every game except one, he's had at least 38 yards rushing and double-digit rushing attempts. So 45 yards rushing, Jalen Hurts over under. All right,
Man, I'm gonna have to go over. I just feel like he's gonna be the key piece to their offense doing much of anything. I can see a lot of. I hate when this happens, but I can see a lot of those 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, where he just scrambles. Pisses me off, but I can see him getting a lot of first downs that way. He's gonna be a big part of their offense. I'm gonna say over, and
everybody's agreeing with you except for Dennis saying under. Dallas defense is too fast.
I agree with that comment. The Miles is sneaky comment too. Miles Sanders has been actually pretty dang good this year.
He has been. But that's mostly because of the read option.
Yeah,
that's
they're worried about Hurts.
Because of the threat of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at we got to remember Daniel Jones has 79 yards rushing against us, and Hurts is probably
disgusting.
To me, Daniel Jones is a more willing runner, but he's not as athletic as Hurts.
It makes me more mad than anyone when Daniel Jones runs on us. I don't know what it is, but it pisses me off so bad. He don't even look like he should be able to run on nobody.
Yeah.
Goofy looking dude. I can't stand Daniel Jones.
And DJ Dog saying we may see some straight up quarterback draw run plays. I mean, if it's 3rd and 5 and we've got all our defensive ends standing up and it looks like they're all going to try to rush from the outside, I could see that. So our defensive line definitely has to be on their P's and Q's when it comes to playing this week's game. So all right, let's keep it going. Let's stay with the Eagles offense as a whole. So you guys all know the statistic. Lambo brought it up at the beginning of the show. We are the only team who hasn't given up multiple touchdowns in a game. Over under 1.5 touchdowns for the Eagles this week. 1.5 touchdowns for the Eagles over under.
Sadly, I'm gonna say this will be the game where we allow 2 touchdowns. I'm gonna say over.
You think they're both rushing by Hurts?
No.
Okay.
Nah, I can see some kind of big splash play. A bust. They're gonna let somebody get a big play. I can see Rush getting one of them though.
Hey Amanda, thank you for joining us.
He does got 6 touchdowns rushing in 5 games.
He does. That's a lot of rushing touchdowns. I'm with Mendoza. 2 rushing touchdowns. I see it. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you go find Amanda Foster on Facebook. She has a great Facebook group that she runs. Have a lot of fantasy teams. They give away a lot of prizes.
DC4L.
DC4L. And also, if you won't be in the area this week, but if you're ever in the area where you don't get the Cowboys games, you can always go to that page and they'll have somebody who has some type of private link. So they do a lot for Cowboys Nation that shouldn't be ignored. So if you're not a member of DC4L, make sure you go check that out. So I think everybody's kind of on the same page. They all think it's going to be over. Make sure you guys come back on Sunday, and we'll do our game predictions and our bowl predictions for this week's game. Let me see. Do we have one more over under for this week? All right, I got one more for you. So we talked about our receiver position, and everybody kind of says over 65 yards. I think it was 70 yards. I said, or 65 yards for a receiver. Cooper Rush is coming off a 105-yard game.
Mm-hmm.
That's been brought up by myself, Lambo, and a couple of people in the comments. Over under. Let me look it up real quick to see what his passing stats have been so far this year. I don't think he's hit 250 so far this year, has he?
He's been in the 200s a few times, but I don't think he's hit 250. He's had a 235, a 215, a 223, and then a 102.
All right, so let's go 240 yards passing for Cooper Rush. Sunday night, primetime game. All your receivers are healthy. This may possibly be his last start of the year. So he has to make a impression. 240 yards passing Cooper Rush. They may shut the run game down, and he may have to sling it.
I'm still gonna say under.
All right. After all that trying to bait people in, everybody's still going under. Tavis Banks saying under, DJ Dog saying under, Mendoza saying under. And Amanda, yeah, he definitely had less yards than Cooper Kupp. Kind of embarrassing for a starting quarterback, but hey, win is a win.
He's only been over 240 one time. Well, then again, he ain't got that many starts, but
yeah,
it was that Minnesota game last year, 320 or 21.
Mm-hmm.
325. But I don't know, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say under.
I got one more over under. Just looking at, and Jeff also says under. DJ Dog talking about the tight end we signed to the practice squad. Said he looked at his highlights briefly. Has a strong trend to the opponent. We see this week big Wildcat quarterback runner. So that means he'll probably be playing Jalen Hurts in practice this week to help get the offense ready. I mean, the defense ready for what they're going to see. But talking about the tight end position, we brought a tight end in this week, which probably means we won't see Dalton Schultz. Jake Ferguson was dealing with the injury last week. We'll see what his progress is for this week. And we also have Sean McEwen, who we haven't seen much so far. Tight end position has been pretty much eliminated from the offense the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Over under 3 catches, 3.5 catches. Over under 3.5 catches for our tight end position as a whole, not just one guy.
I was gonna say push, but now it's at 3.5. So I'm gonna say under and call it 3.
Okay. 3.5 catches for our tight end position, not just one guy.
He seems to just not look that way ever to tight ends. I mean, I hope it's over, but based off what we've seen from Rush, he obviously just has a hatred for tight ends. I don't know where it's going.
Mm-hmm. Amanda saying over, Amanda saying under, Jeff saying over. Tavis saying it better be over. I agree.
Better be, but
their tight ends are playing really good. I mean, their corners are playing really good. So we'll probably need some of those bootleg play action drags and outs to kind of keep the game going. I'm leaning over. I know we haven't seen it. I'm leaning over. I don't know why. I think Hendershot makes a couple catches this week.
Yeah.
I know Mendoza saying it's happening. I'm sure he's leaning Hendershot also. DJ Dog saying similar to the Giants game.
Let's see. Schultz has had a total of 2 receptions in the last. Well, I know he missed the Giants game. The last last 3 games, total 2 receptions.
It's been bad.
It's
Lambo,
pathetic.
I see you got your guy in here, Star Boy,
Bird Gang Killer in the building.
Bird Gang Killer.
My my other half of Bird Gang Killer.
Lambo, you also got to post that song as well this week.
I do. Me as my other self character, Cowboy Dale and Starboy, we did the Bird Gang Killer track a couple years ago, and you hear it playing at tailgates and everything every time we play Philly. If you haven't heard it, YouTube Bird Gang Killer, Starboy and Cowboy Dale.
All right, we're at an hour 6 minutes. I think we've pretty much hit everything. We'll do our keys to victory, our game predictions, and bowl predictions this Sunday, 11:15 Central Standard Time. So make sure you guys come back and join us for that. And let me go through this again, over under, because I don't know if everybody made a comment. DJ Dog said over, similar to the Giants game. Mendoza says it's happening.
Ferguson's had 3 catches in the past 4 games, which is more than Schultz has even got.
Boy, now you're making me start to question my prediction now. I still got faith. They gotta throw it to the tight end this week. That has to happen for us to be able to.
They have to be looking at it and going, this is something we need to take advantage of.
Exactly. Because their linebackers aren't that good. We got to find a way to take advantage. And we've been running a lot of 12 personnel, and I've seen 13 out there a couple of times last week. So they're definitely getting the tight ends involved in the offense. So we got to use them for more than just blocking.
Yeah.
Dennis Rivera asked the question, when is Washington coming back? You know, that's a good question, Dennis. He was put on IR. So I haven't heard anything about him being activated and his 21-day window starting.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that based off the nature of the injury, I think people say it's what, 8 to 10 week injury. He got hurt right before preseason, so that's like 5 weeks. And now we're in week 6 of the regular season. So you're thinking it's been about 10 weeks and we haven't heard anything. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out over the next week or two. At this point, I probably wouldn't expect to even hear his name mentioned to the bye week.
I know Todd Archer with ESPN reports had said 8 days ago they were talking about how he was eligible to come off injured reserve right ahead of week 5, but they said he still needs more time to rehab. So
yeah,
definitely would be probably after bye week. I agree with you.
And in all honesty, who would we cut to make room for him?
It's a good question.
I mean, you can't cut anybody defensively, right? Exactly. You can't cut anybody defensively. I mean, I think Dennis Houston's still on the practice squad. Am I right?
Should be.
So you're not cutting your top 3 receivers. You're not cutting Turpin. You're not cutting Semi. That's 5.
It might not be a Washington in a regular season Cowboy uniform.
Yeah, that's true. DJ Dog asking the question, does Damone Clark get back before Washington?
I hope so. I'd like to see that.
Yep. But Mendoza, I think this guy's on the practice squad, so he's not taking a spot right now. Jeff saying sounds like a classic Dallas IR move coming. You know, we could talk about this later on in the season. I'm kind of on the fence on whether or not we see Clark this year, because I know Tavis has been putting it throughout the comments all night about Cox, Jabril Cox.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen him play yet. And that's a guy who's healthy and was here last year, even though he was on injured reserve. We haven't seen him. it's going to be kind of difficult to ask the team to put Damone Clark on the active roster and let him play when we have linebackers who we haven't seen.
That's true too.
Now, if they think he can come in and participate as a core special teams guy, then I say they probably could make room for him. But if not for that, I can't see them wasting a spot just to have him out there as our sixth linebacker when our fourth and fifth never touch the field. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it for today's show. Once again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate your support. Appreciate all the great questions and comments that you guys asked today. You guys really fueled the show. Tavis, it's good to seeing you in the show, DJ Dog. Thank you for coming back. Make sure you guys come back again because your questions and comments were definitely a great addition to just the content we put out today. And also, Amanda, I know you came in late, but definitely like to see you come back as well. So once again, everybody, thank you for joining us. And be sure to join us this Sunday, 11:15 Central Standard Time for our pregame show, where we'll give you our keys to victory, game prediction, bowl prediction, and our fantasy favorites. I know we don't normally see Shane Odom until pregame show, but I got to give him a shout out because he got the closest to the score this week. He was actually at 21-10. So he was definitely right there. If I can find a giveaway to give to him, I'll probably try to find something to get over to him for getting so close. But once again, make sure you guys join us this Sunday. I'm interested in getting your thoughts on our keys to victory and also getting your game predictions. But until then, Lambo, let the people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Cowboys Y'all. And on Instagram at Cowboys Y'all 88. And I'm glad you said that, Jeff. I was getting ready to say that as well. I wanted to get it ready by today. Had a bunch of family stuff going on, so I wasn't able to get the Cowboy Dale video ready by this show. But I'm gonna release it on Friday. Me and Marcus are gonna release it on every page we have. So the Bluff City Cowboys pages, the Cowboys Zone page, the Cowboys Y'all pages. You can find, I'm thinking Friday night probably. So just come check all the pages out Friday night. It should be posted.
And if you want to get your Cowboy Dale fixed before then, Starboy Payne is posted in the comments the YouTube link to the Bird Gang Killer video. So be sure to check that out. It's a great song. It should be our anthem going into this week. So make sure you guys check that out.
Yeah.
Be sure to, like Lambo said, follow all our social media to see that Cowboy Dale game prediction. We'll also play it again on Sunday during the show. So thank you guys for joining. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Bluff City Cowboys. And you can find me on Twitter at Bluff Cowboys. Looking forward to a great game this Sunday. A lot of great football. Once again, be sure to join us this Sunday, 11:15 Central Standard Time for our pregame show. Lambo, got any other thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, F Philly. There it is, right there. Yeah, go find it.
So before you guys leave the show, make sure you click on that link in the comments. Starboy Gang just posted it, Bird Gang Killer. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Like Mendoza said, like, follow, and sub. We definitely appreciate you guys' support, your questions, your comments. And we're out. You guys enjoy the rest of your week.
See y'all later.
Thank you for watching the Cowboy Zone.